Jim Avila, everybody.
Good morning,
Look
Mark.
at
Good morning,
you.
everybody.
Hello, sir. Well, you have a new column. You write on media and politics, and I think that's such a, it's the essence of what's going on, the information flow, what we know, how the media takes things on, doesn't take things on, spins things. But I don't know how you want to do it, Jim. You do have a major announcement. I saw your, I believe it was your Twitter feed.
Yeah.
And you did. So let me just do it right off the top. This would be, and we love it because we do have a
major announcement from the Mark Townsend Show. A major announcement.
You're a regular, so you get that major announcement treatment. Jim, what is your announcement for us?
Well, I'm making this announcement only so I could hear Shadow Stevens do that. So maybe I'll just.
I don't blame you for that. Yeah.
Well, I got bored, Mark. This is lovely.
This wasn't enough for you, apparently.
Once a week, for an hour or whatever it is, half an hour. I've been retired for 2.5 years, and I decided to go back to work. But I didn't want to go back to work. I did entertain some offers back east. But in my old age, I had become geographically spoiled. And so I told anybody who was talking to me about going back to work that it would have to be in a region from San Francisco south to the Mexican border and on the coast. So a station ABC10, KGTW in San Diego took me up on it. And I'll begin as their senior investigative reporter beginning on November 27th.
Wow.
There's never been anything like this.
Well, this is really big news. A senior investigative reporter. I love that. So it's
a good station. They do,
Yeah.
I was in local news for many years, as you were, and it is different, but they do serious stuff there. They don't do a lot of traffic accidents and murder du jour. They actually have an investigative team that I'll be part of, and will do stories that matter. In fact, believe it or not, that is their slogan: stories that matter.
Wow.
Which is kind of cool. It's
fits
not
with you quite well. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not sort of if it bleeds, it leads. It's good stuff. So I'm looking forward to it. San Diego is a lovely place. It's just a little ways down the freeway from where I live, so it should be good.
Well, the crowd in our chat who's watching, they're watching live. They all seem pretty excited. There is a question that Randy has asked.
Yes.
It's, does that mean Jim won't be on the Mark Thompson Show anymore? What is we can just, after the celebration has settled down, can we just be selfish enough to ask, will you still make appearances here regularly?
I'll be here on Friday. I know that so far.
Great.
But I have requested that I be able to continue to do this show, and I have not gotten an answer yet. When it's being bumped upstairs. So this station is owned by Scripps, which is a long time. For those who know, that they used to own a bunch of newspapers. They still do. They own, I think, the second most television radio stations in the country. So they do. They are in the business of news. There is I would say on this program that I've become unleashed, and because I was no longer a reporter covering just facts, I could give my opinion.
Sure.
So there is a balancing act to be done. If they allow me to continue, I will do analysis.
Right.
And I will not, which is fair, and you can do that, but I won't be giving you my personal opinion anymore.
Sure.
There's
and
at
I
least
think
that change.
I get that, and I think that makes a lot of sense. In fact, as I think about the roundtable shows that they do, Face the Nation, Meet the Press, this week, those are all people who are currently employed at various networks giving their takes. I mean, many of them are also writers at the Wall Street Journal, wherever, So
Right.
It's hardly a big ask if you can keep that objectivity with your analysis that you see, as I say, on all of these different Sunday shows. Well, we'd love to. I hope it works out because we'd love to continue to have you and have your takes here.
Well, this has been great, and I enjoy it, and so I would love to still do it on at least once a week. So we'll see.
You were one of the people who basically said, don't pay attention to the polls. And then the last bit of polling, which was so damning, was really during the most recent election, perhaps beaten back. I mean, the notions and conclusions that people reached based on that polling, they seem flawed based on that vote. I wonder if you could speak to that, and also the media's need, Jim. I was making the point before, for the sort of shiny object story, and how the polling, I think, leads that sort of pickup by the media.
Yeah, all those things are true. I think that so frequently news organizations do polls during a slow period, because if there's nothing much going on in politics, which nowadays is not very often,
Yeah.
they will gin up a poll that gives them something to talk about. It also gives them promotion. So, in this particular case, we're talking about the New York Times Siena poll, and we know that when they published that poll that showed that Joe Biden was trailing in 5 out of 6 swing states, that the panels went crazy, nonstop panels. Everybody quoted them from CNN to MSNBC to even local, and a panic set in among Democrats. So it's to get buzz, and it works. I'm not saying that, and what I'm not saying in this column, and what I'm not telling you today, is that the poll was necessarily wrong. What I'm saying is that it lacks context. And the job is, you print the poll, what your pollsters found, and then you tell people what it means and what it doesn't mean. And what the New York Times and others, especially others, did not do is point out several things. Number one, we're a year out. Number two, if Barack Obama, if we went by these polls a year out, Barack Obama would have lost twice, because he was behind in polls leading up to his election a year away.
Right, a year out, exactly.
Yeah. So they're meaningless. The polls they tell you a snapshot of what their person is being told, that their pollster is being told. Secondly, in today's environment, people don't tell pollsters the truth. They really don't. We're finding more and more that they're afraid of telling people the truth, telling them what they think, and it's a problem. And then, as I say, the context. If you believe that Joe Biden is only going to beat Donald Trump among African Americans by 1 point, which is what this poll said, then you're living in a dreamland. I apologize. Let me just open this door.
Yeah.
I can get out.
The doggy wants out.
Yeah, I'm staying with a friend, and she has a little dog.
Sure.
But at any rate, if you believe that's going to happen when it comes close to election, you're living in fantasy land, because first thing they're going to do is play all the denigrating comments that that Donald Trump has made about African Americans, all the way from the Central Park 5 in New York City through the elections. Now he's calling Letitia James peekaboo. Those things don't stand. And when it's made public in these in the huge amount of money that Joe Biden and the Democrats have to spend on advertising, plus abortion, when the Democrats play over and over in their commercials, Donald Trump quoting, saying, "I'm responsible for this." He says it. "I'm responsible for this. I made Roe versus Wade go away." And he says that he told Chris Matthews back, in 2016, they'll play that again, when he said that women should be prosecuted for having abortions. Those type of things do not play. And so if you think that young people, that Biden's going to lose his constituency among young people and African Americans and minorities and Hispanics, that's just not happening. So the context was not given. And what really set me off is that on Sunday, on Meet the Press, the moderator of Meet the Press, Kristen Welker, a friend of mine from my days at the White House, nice woman, continued to say over and over that that it was a good and bad week for Joe Biden. A bad week because of the poll, a good week because of the election on Tuesday, which why and so you're telling me that you equate a poll with an actual election? I'm sorry, that makes no sense. And you should, you shouldn't be allowed on television saying that. That is just whataboutism to the extreme.
Yeah, you make the point, and it's such a good. The real poll is at the polling place when people are voting. It's an odd kind of. Yeah, you're right. It's an odd equivalency that's built in. So.
Yeah, and they're just so trained nowadays. It's hard to leave decades of training in the old days when you could report Republicans say this, Democrats say this, and it's just a difference of opinion. It's not that way anymore. The New York Times did this, and they're in their first headline about Donald Trump, and I think you've spoken about this, about Donald Trump saying Nazi-like things, calling his opponents, his enemies, vermin, which is right out of the Hitler playbook.
Right.
And the New York Times headline was, critics say that is bad. Wait a minute. It's not critics say anymore. You can say this is wrong. This is Hitler-esque, and you can't, you don't have to qualify that anymore.
In our last couple of minutes, Jim, just on that, because you mentioned it, I have to say that it's extraordinary when you watch a Trump speech. And we're going to play a little bit when David K. Johnston joins in the next hour. But just the speech that you're talking about, where he talks about the left and he talks about vermin, and as you say, he uses the verbiage of the Third Reich, if you will. But the hateful nature of it, it's so spiteful and hateful that when you watch it, and you've watched other elections in this country, and you've just watched other political debate in this country, it's a bit bizarre, meaning you're right. Things have shifted so much that kind of hateful talk, I mean, it's so spiteful and nasty. It's like the kind of thing you would say like in a rap battle type thing, that I'm astounded that politics has changed so much that mudslinging, which would be really an exception in the old days, is now kind of the coin of the realm to demonize the other side that way.
And he's revealing his plans in his second term to go after anybody who spoke out against him, to jail them, and this is the other thing. In this poll, you think that Latinos are going to vote for the guy who says he's going to set up immigration camps inside this country and put immigrants in these camps? This is a Stephen Miller gone crazy situation. And at the first headline again in the New York Times was a critic say that's wrong. Not a declarative sentence. Make a freaking declarative sentence. That's all you have to do. You no longer have to couch it with these type of things.
And literally in our last minute or two, is the reason for that, you've mentioned the New York Times, is the reason for that, what do you attribute that to? That might be just a better way to put it.
Well, I think I touched on it. It's years of training, Mark. It is, we're trained over and over to be objective and to present all sides or both sides. Trump has used that to his advantage to destroy our institutions, including the press, attack them. And in defense, the press has gone into their both sidesism. So they're going to present, they're afraid of being called out by MAGA folks. I get stuff all the time from people saying, that I'm biased. Yeah, I'm biased against people who are going to overthrow the government. That's my red line. Okay, if you're going to overthrow the government, I'm not presenting your case. I'm not telling you. I'm not going to present your lies. If I was doing the meet the press, I would do what Stephanopoulos has done, which is not have those people on. And when if they do come on, he asks them over and over if they accept the results of the election. He did that with Steve Scalise like 8 times, and Scalise would not answer the question. That's what needs to be done.
Yeah. We look forward to, what's your timetable on this San Diego thing?
Right after Thanksgiving, I'll be starting.
Wow.
I don't think I'll have a story right away, but I'll,
Well, you're an
it's take a little
investigator. You're
time
going
to
to take some time.
investigate.
Exactly. Well, we'll see you on Friday.
Yes.
And we love this. I'm being told, I have to bookend your major announcement with our, this has been a major announcement.
This has been a major announcement.
Okay,
of
yeah.
the Mark
Sorry.
Townsend Show.
It's in the
Major
bylaws, Jim, that we run both the announcement and then this has been a major announcement. We're looking forward to Friday. And Jim, congratulations. So glad you're going to be in this new world, and you just bring such great chops to it. It's going to be exciting. So thanks, pal.
Thanks, Mark.
Hi, it's Mark, and I thought that was great. Hit the notification bell. You'll know whenever there's a new video being dropped, and please subscribe to our channel to help us save the universe.